Today in this video, we're gonna learn about if else. What does this mean? This means, and why do we use this? So we simply use this thing to produce the output based on certain conditions, right? Okay, this is not clear, right? So let me take you to the Jupyter notebook and try to explain this with the help of an example. Okay, so here we are in the Jupyter notebook. Let's say you are working in the HR department and where they decide to segment the ratings which employees are getting from the client, right? So for example, if employee gets a rating of 5, then they want to say excellent. If not, then says simply want to say poor. So this is the condition which they want to use for now. Okay, now they want you to create a system where they simply enter the rating and they get the which produces the output which simply says that whether that is excellent or poor. Okay, so this is pretty simple. How you gonna say? I mean, when you talk in plain English, all that you say is if it is if the rating is 5, then the segment is excellent. Okay, if not, then it is poor. So in the same way, you're gonna write this thing. You simply say if. Alright, first let me create a variable for rating, and here I am going to assign a value of 5. Now here this is created. Now I am simply going to say if rating equals to, if you have not seen the previous videos which is based on Python operators, I strongly recommend you to go ahead and check that particular video. Link is given in the description section about this thing, right? So that you will understand all these operators. Okay, here if rating equals to 5, then I want to produce the output as excellent. Don't worry about the alignments of the syntax. I'll just explain in a moment. Okay, now if you just hit enter, the output which you get is excellent. And what if the rating is not equals to 5, then what is it that you're gonna get? Nothing is coming out, right? So this next thing which you need to do is specify if the condition is specify an output if the condition is not true. Over here, if it is 5, then the condition is true and output which you get is excellent. What if the condition is not true? Then for that you're gonna say else, and the output which you want to print is poor. Okay, now because you see over here the rating is 2, and if you hit enter, then you get poor because the rating is not equals to 5. Now this could be little rude, because if the employee doesn't manage to get rating 5, then you are saying simply poor. That doesn't sound good. So HR comes up with a solution, and they come up with this particular segment. If 5, then excellent. If anything less than 5 and greater than 3, then it is not just meeting to the expectation. If it is below 3, then it is not meeting to the expectation, right? So here you see the rating is 2, which is below 3. That means the output should come not meeting to the expectation. How you can craft that particular thing in this? How can you include that? For that, all that you need to do is use elif. Elif is nothing, it simply says else if, which is an alternate of if, right? If is the first statement and elif will come after that to create the another statements on top of that. Okay, so what you're gonna do is elif colon and hit enter. In that you're gonna write what is the output that you want to produce. So the output which I want to produce is simple met expectation. All right, but there must be a condition. What is the condition that we need to put over here? The condition we want to put is if rating is greater than or equals to 3 and rating is less than 5. Okay, if the rating is greater than or equals to 3 and rating is less than 5, what does this mean? If the rating is between 3 to 5, I mean 3 to less than 5, not exactly 5. If 5, then it is excellent. Okay, so now if you modify your conditions according to this, and now when you hit enter, what you get is still poor because 2. So here I just need to modify this particular thing over here. Once I modify this particular thing and then you hit enter, here it produces the not met the expectation. Now let's change the value over here. Let's say 3.5. so what do you think what the output is going to come? See, met expectation, because this is coming between 3 to 5. Now if you simply say 5, the output which will come is excellent. Let's try to understand the syntax writing over here. Here at one side I'll be explaining syntax, and at the right side I'll be explaining example along with that, right? Now here we start with if. Syntax is started with if, then we put our condition, which is in our case was rating equals to 5, right? I'll just show you, and then we put the colon. Let's see the example. We are starting with if, and the condition which we have is it should be rating equals to 5, and then we put the colon. Then in syntax part we again gonna see that when we hit enter, by default Jupyter notebooks take a space of 1 tab. If you are working in core Python IDLE, right, then over there you can simply press spacebar 4 times, or you can press tab once, right? And after that you need to put the value which you want to produce if the condition is true. So here in our example we want to say excellent performance, or simply excellent. Okay, now what if the condition is not true? Then in that case we're gonna use else followed by a colon, and then again you hit enter and you write the output which you want to produce in case the condition is false. But this should also be followed by 1 tab space. If you are missing on this particular thing, then the Python will not give you the correct output. It will simply throw an error. Now let's have a look at our example. Here we simply gonna say else colon and hit enter, followed by a tab. By default Jupyter will take 1 tab, and then over here you can simply write whatever you want to produce. Now when we come up with the with intermediary situation, which was elif, in that case we want to modify the syntax elif, then clause and conditions, and decision if the condition is true, right? So simply we're gonna say rating greater than, if elif rating greater than equals to 3 and rating less than 5, then print met expectation. So this is how we modify our statements, right? And this is how we write our syntax. I just hope that it is clear to you. If yes, then press the thumbs up. If no, then write into the comment section. I'll try to solve this. Now let's understand the flow of this, how the flow works. So first it takes the input, then the input is evaluated over here, and then if the evaluation is true, then you get the output which is expected to come when the evaluation is true. If that is false, then it produces the output which is specified to come on false. Let's take an example. Here we say rating equals to 3.5, then it is evaluated whether the rating is between 3 and below 5. The answer is yes, it is in between this. Then what we're gonna get is met expectation. Another example, see rating equals to 1, which will be evaluated over here, but that is not falling in this range. So what we're gonna do is not met expectation. Okay, all right. So over here if you see not meeting the expectation. All right, so this is how the flow works. Now let's get back to the Jupyter notebook again and see another examples. If you see over here, this is something which has been created, but this has little error into it. What is the error? So if you put 6 over here, what do you think? What's the output gonna come? Not meet the expectation. But 6 is something which is higher than 5, and if the employee is getting 6, how can he not meet the expectation? So what we do is, if whenever you are writing a flow in if or else, we should start from the bottom part. Okay, so how we gonna write it? How we gonna write it? Okay, so we can start it with, let's say, if rating less than or equals to what? Yeah, come on, go on. Less than or equals to 3, then what we're gonna say is print not met. We are simply reversing it, nothing else. Not met expectation. Okay, now next one which we're gonna say is elif rating, the next part we're gonna keep same. Here it is. Okay, we are going to keep it same. It's just we need to put certain space over here. Okay, and then we're gonna print met expectation. This is what we want to print over here. All right, now else what we want to say is, because if it is nothing from this, then it is simply excellent. Whatever will come, that will always be above 5, right? Because below, whatever you get below 3, that is not meeting to the expectation. So whatever is left, because there cannot be any number which is not less than 5, which is less than 5, because for numbers less than 5 we have already given the conditions. So simply we can say print excellent. All right, now you see over here the rating value was 6 and we simply did is excellent. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll simply just copy this particular thing over here to make it simple, and what I'm going to do is 1, and you see here it is getting not met expectation. If you put 7 over here, what you get is excellent. If you get 3.5, 3.6, let's say for that matter, here it is meeting to the expectation. So this is how if and else is designed. So keep in mind, this was a very basic example and you can make it as complicated as you want, but first thing is this is foundational example, right? So just understand this on the best level. If you have any confusion, put that into the comment section. If it is clear to you, then you can make it as complex as you want. You can simply put the things, problem statement in the comment section. I'll explain you how can you make that more complex. Okay, now there is another way. There is shorthand to do this thing, right? There is always a shortcut. Okay, so for that matter, if you take this example, okay, here I have written it already, but I'm just going to hide that and I'll write it over here. So let's consider that we have to write this thing only. So in shorthand, what we're gonna do is we start with writing the result first. Here we first write the condition and then the result, but in shorthand we write the result first. So first thing which we're gonna write is this: print not met expectation if this particular thing. Okay, if this is the thing, then print this one. So we are starting with result first. Elif, okay, so here else, if elif is not required, we can simply say another if condition. Okay, we can simply say print this if rating is this. Then again we can say print no exclamation, no punctuation is required. Print this met expectation, simple, met expectation when if rating is between this particular thing, right? Else you simply print excellent. So this is the shorthand to write the if else statement, you see, and just hit enter. Okay, there is something, I was behaving like a kid, right? So it's gonna come over here, right? So you see, print this statement if rating equals to if rating equals to this, else print this if rating equals to this, and this, between this and this, else print this. Now you hit enter, you get met expectation. Okay, now you change the value to 6, right? And you hit enter, here it says excellent. Okay, so in shorthand, what you're going to do simply is you start with writing the first output. It's going to be exactly same, it's just we are starting with output first, and here we are starting with condition first. So here we are first writing the output, then we are saying when to produce this output, when rating less than equals to 3. Else print met expectation if rating is in the range of 3 to less than 5. Else at the end you simply print excellent. So I just hope that it was clear to you, and if yes, then press the thumbs up and write into the comment section. If no, then write your doubt into the comment section and also suggest how can I make it more better for you. And until then, happy learning. Practice this as much as you can, because that's the only thing which is going to help you. And once again, happy learning. All the